gentlemen, ladies and gentlethems, everyone out there in the digital universe, to this amazing BAM digital exclusive. I am so pleased, so honored to be able to sit here and speak to a legend, someone who I have honored and admired and looked up to and have tried my best to follow, but let's face it, you can't find all the work sometimes. But someone that I've respected forever. In fact, those of you who are here in Grand Rapids, you remember last year at Pride, I sang Sister in honor of our Black people and what we have brought to the forefront. And Lord knows I am so blessed right now because I get the privilege and the honor of speaking to the amazing Miss Margaret Avery. Miss Avery, how are you doing?
Oh, I am so humbled and blessed. Thank you so much. You know, you can't, um, when you see how others are, you can't be complaining, what's happening in the world and the injustices that's going on with people and losing their homes, having to flee to another country with only what's on their backs. I mean, what can we do but just get out and vote? That's preserve what we have and not take it for granted.
Yes, that's a strong word from the door. Look, y'all heard her. Get out.
Yeah, that's right, because we take so much for granted.
Yes.
I mean, I came home from vacation, my husband and I, and the house was freezing. We'd been gone almost 2 months. So, I'm as frugal as I am. I'm saying, well, I'm going to turn the heat off. No point in paying for a warm house and our behinds ain't there. So right, we turned the heat on. Nothing happened. Nothing. I said, oh, well, remember the thermostat has these little batteries. So maybe that's what it is. We changed the batteries. Nothing. Ooh, we were cold. And I thought about the homeless. I said, we're cold in our house. Think about them out on the street. Nobody wants them in their neighborhood. They're desperate. And what can I say? I mean, remember, before you complain about yourself, there's always somebody else that's worse off than you. So make the best of what you can. And if you can, help somebody else.
Hey, that's it. That is it. And that is how we operate. We are here to enrich, inspire, and enable. And that is the word. That right there. Make sure you are helping somebody else make it. Well, let's dive right in. Let's get into it.
We ain't into it yet.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess we've been into it for a minute, haven't we? Oh my goodness. Let me ask you this question because it's been resting in my brain for a while. With everything that is happening, especially in the world, you spoke just a few minutes ago so eloquently about how there's so much happening in all places and all points of the world. I have to ask you, how is your survival right now? Because the self-care road, the things that we have to do to take care of ourselves in the midst of turmoil, it can be difficult on its own. So how are you surviving? Are you surviving well? And how are you doing the self-care thing?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's always been a challenge for me to balance career, home, and then being good to myself. As women, we're the caregivers, but naturally, and usually we do for ourselves last. And then when it comes to last, maybe now it's not enough money to do for ourselves. We make the sacrifice so that the children can have it. Now, I'm not saying men don't do their share. I'm talking from a woman who was a single parent in Los Angeles, and I don't feel that Los Angeles is the best place to raise a child, particularly if you don't have a high income, because there are no free things for children here. The politicians have allowed the developers to take all the parks. That's what I like about Atlanta. They have so many parks. And if you don't have money here in Los Angeles, what do you do with your children? Everything you do costs something. To take them to the beach, you better have a car. And I mean, there are children in Los Angeles that have never seen the beach. Can you imagine? They have never been out of their neighborhoods. So I just keep saying, vote, y'all, because I don't want to be too political, which I am, but we have to know what's happening in our community because it's not happening in every community. Be aware of that.
Sure.
Look at where it is happening and it happens because we don't vote, we don't know what's going on, and it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil.
I love the gems you are dropping right now because there's so much truth behind what you're saying. How did you, coming up in Oklahoma, find your way to art?
Well, what happened was that my father's in the Navy and we migrated to San Diego. That's where I grew up.
Gotcha.
And lived in a Navy housing ghetto called Frontier Homes. And so the boundary for where I would go to high school, junior high and high school, was such that I wound up going to an elitist white school. And you're talking about in the 50s. This is when we had those laws in place, or didn't have laws in place, that blacks could only buy in certain places, and we were like Raisin in the Sun, if you know that play.
Yes,
you couldn't, you had to like pretend a white person was buying in order and then come in. But that was happening here back in 68. So we haven't been too free for very long. But what I was going to say was that because I went to an elitist school, they had drama. And I discovered that I really had a gift for drama. Now, this is all white school, so I didn't get to do major roles because they would do like plays like Little Women. Now, where do I fit? How am I going to be one of the sisters? So I was the maid, okay? But the way I excelled in drama was that I participated in citywide contests, and I come back with first place in oratorical interpretation and monologues, always first place for the school. So I said, this is something for me. And then I was inspired by seeing Harry Belafonte and the beautiful Dorothy Dandridge in Island in the Sun. When I saw that beautiful woman and she was skinny like me, I said, Lord, maybe I could be an actress. Because at that time, only thing you saw in television, remember when television went off at a certain time and you just saw the snow? And we only had like about 4 channels. But at that time, they were playing movies in the 30s, and the black women were heavy, had some big old busts, and I was skinny. So when I saw Dorothy Dandridge, I said, oh, wow, it really sparked it. But at that time, if you're going to college as a woman, black woman, you don't think about law school or medicine. It's like teaching, nursing, or social work, and any of those is better than when you're in poverty. It just means, hey, this is a good job. You're going to get paid every week. You understand? So I went into education because I have always loved children. So it was when I was teaching 1st and 2nd grade in the Bay Area that Sidney Poitier got the Oscar for Lilies of the Field. And later on, the lovely Diane Carroll, she had her own TV show, Julia.
Yeah.
And so I said, Lord, it looks like it's going to open up. It's going to open up. So I had to give up teaching and come to Los Angeles.
And so you came to LA and then you got into the Blaxploitation scene. So
Right. Well, that was the only thing that happened for we black artists. We had done a lot of stage, Stage was always open for us, particularly in the little theaters in our communities. So when the Blaxploitation films came along, wow, that we were just happy to have that experience, and we were so professional. We could do it in one take. And so that fit their budget, of course. We would pray that please have a sound problem or something. Can we do another take, And then those storylines went into television, opened up for television. And that's when I was doing Kojaks and Streets of San Francisco and all these shows that if you're under 30, certainly you don't remember.
So out of the Blaxploitation scene comes this film that you do with Steven Spielberg.
Oh, you're talking about the TV one. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the first time I met Steven Spielberg, the director. Was that Something Evil?
I think so. Well, you played Irene, yes?
I don't know, Lord. Oh, the only character name I remember is Annie Mae with Richard Pryor. But I had been doing television for quite a while. As a matter of fact, by the time Color Purple came around, I'd been doing television for almost 20 years. So Color Purple was a big experience for me, for my career. I owe it to Alice Walker and everyone involved with Color Purple getting it done, as for you being interested in me to even talk to me today. And, here it is almost 45 years later.
I mean, that means you made a mark on somebody.
Made a mark on me, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I got to ask you, how was your experience working on the film? Like, what are some of the things that you remember from being on set?
Well, basically, because we were all so in love with the book, we wanted so much to please Alice Walker. The feeling of love and wanting to do our personal best, each one of us. This was my first major film, and it was Steven Spielberg's, our director's, first really dramatic film. Whoopi's first film. She got a 3-picture deal going in. Danny Glover, who played Mr. He had already done some film.
Right, he'd been on the scene for a minute.
Of significance, but the rest of us, Oprah, I mean, that was her first film. So we put the pressure on ourselves to do our personal best. And I think that the new cast, they feel the same way. It's like it was just a camaraderie. That this is a special project, and the love there for not only the project, but for just the positive energy for one another. Because, when you go away on location, the people you work with, whether it's in the music business or whatever business, they become your family. And even, if you work a 9 to 5 in the city, you're with those people more than you are with your family.
Yes.
Good luck that you like them. Same way with our kids. At a certain time in life, they're out there in the schools and with their friends more than they are with you. Did I get off the subject enough? What were we talking about?
I know you covered it. You covered it. And you actually covered what my next question was. I was asking you what your experience was like working on the film, and what were some moments that stuck with you from working with everybody?
Well, other than what I just said, I regret that I wasn't able to remain in the living facility where we were all put. We were at some raggedy old hotel. One of those Holiday Inns where everybody, if you have your shade up, anybody walks right 2 inches
right
from
past.
you. Yeah, and don't have your bathroom door open, Lord. So, and I'm such a light sleeper. So I said, well, for me to do my best, I can't keep going on the set tired. So I rented a house, and that put me away from everyone. So my relationships kind of started to develop with the Los Angeles cast after the film. I think one of your questions was, what did I learn from projects? When I worked with the wonderful Ben Vereen, we did, which one was it? Louis Armstrong's story. And Ben, he's a Broadway music guy, tap dance and that. And he played the leading character, Louis Armstrong. And he, as actors, we don't begin overtime, if we have overtime, until after 12 hours.
Right.
So we would work those 12 hours, and then Ben would go leave the set, not go home, but go somewhere to rehearse his one-man show for Vegas. And I asked him once, I said, how do you do it? And it taught me, this is what I want people to know, that in this business, the people who are, you see, that are so good, don't think they don't work. It doesn't come easily. They work hard. It means you've got to take care of your body. You can't be smoking and drinking. You've got to exercise. You've got to take care of your tools. We look at Beyonce, and I'm sure what I've read about her, she rehearses like a maniac. And Michael Jackson, his shows, they rehearse. I mean, they worked hard. And can you imagine doing that every night, and sometimes a different city? You've got to be good. And it's hard to eat right when you're on the road.
Yeah.
But it's almost like becoming so focused on what you have to do. And all the greatest are like that. You notice if you see the videos on them, how they take control, they know what they want. I bet they're in bed at night thinking through stuff, because I do it myself, thinking through scenes and this is how I should say this, or I should move like this. So it's like you're always on. And the point I want to make is, don't get in the business because you think you're going to make a lot of money or you want to be famous. You got to get in the business because it's your passion. And if you're not in the business, it's something else that you're doing. Make it your passion, because everything is so competitive. When you go home at night tired, you want to be tired from something you enjoy doing, not waking up the next day, damn, got to go there again. Yeah. You know, that's even more tiring. And you can tell people who don't enjoy what they do, because you go into an office and they're grumpy and mean at you, and you're saying, dang, you know.
You could have stayed home. You've played so many dynamically different characters throughout time. Some of them, of course, based on circumstances of being a Black actress in Hollywood and having to, go with what's given. But then you every once in a while get something that's like captivating, like a SHUG Avery, like Annie Mae in the prior film.
And it's rare.
It's very rare. It is very rare. Of those roles, is there one that is kind of like the pinnacle, the diamond in the rough for you, the one that you hold the closest and the dearest? Is it Purple?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I guess I exude that because people don't even know my real first name. They just call me SHUG. It's almost like they okay. But a part of it is because my last name is Avery.
Mm-hmm.
And because they didn't read Alice Walker's book, they say, "Oh, isn't that something that Alice named the character after you?" And I said, "No, baby." Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that people think that way.
Well, they still think that I did the singing too, because Black people don't read credits. It was the wonderful 5'2". I don't even think she's 5'2". I think she's 5 foot. Tata Vega. She did that. God's Trying to Tell You Something. She did all the voices. And I would have loved to have done all the singing, which I could have done. The sister, you've been on my mind. Now that one and a couple of others I could have done, but I never could have done that gospel, God's Trying to Tell You Something. She made that scene.
It is an iconic scene. That whole prodigal daughter coming home, final moment of forgiveness, reconciliation. I don't know anybody, because this is such a film about people and not race. I don't know anybody who hasn't seen that scene and started weeping incessantly.
Yeah, because it's amazing. I had the experience of touring the film, marketing it after it came out, and we went all over Europe. And everybody, every culture, particularly women, related to that film. And a lot of men, a lot of my male friends, they related to it, not having the relationship. Anybody who didn't have a relationship that they wanted with their father, it they could relate to the film, with SHUG wanting to connect to her father and always experiencing the rejection. So I think that there are parts of the film, the first film, that you don't see in the musical, because the musical is from the musical play.
Right.
And so a lot of times people say, well, they didn't do this and they didn't sing. God tried. Well, that was not the musical music. That was Quincy Jones's music in the first film, theatrical. And a musical can never give you the depth, well, unless it's in the music. The music is the dialogue for the actors. You can't compare the two. And I'm sorry that some people have, a lot of people who, the older people who saw the film, which was 40 years ago, Lord have mercy, they're comparing it to the musical, and that's apples and oranges.
Right.
But I thought everybody did a fabulous job, and I just hats off to Alice Walker, because I know when she wrote that book, she had no idea what impact she would have, for all the people. Can you imagine all the people, because of her, got employment?
So many people worked from her writing this narrative.
Yes, and it really started with her, because even on Color Purple, the film, we had black sound, and I'd never seen that. I mean, you're talking about a veteran here who started in TV. I never saw a black person because they couldn't get in the union.
Yeah.
And speaking of those unions, I had to do my own makeup and hair because those white ladies didn't know what to do with me. Have you looking ashy? But now that there's more black projects out, I mean, people are behind the camera, are people,
Yeah.
and we've got makeup artists, we've got wardrobe people, and you're saying that you have, didn't you say earlier, teaching how to make film or something?
Absolutely.
Your organization. And so that keeps the door open for us, because too many times the door opens and then boom, it closes. It's almost like they say, oh, it's too many of you guys now. We got to, and then ban us for I don't know how long. Because that happened to me in television. We had all those black sitcoms, Good Time, Sanford and Son. I did them all, and then boom, nothing. They had Cheers and Friends and all these white shows that maybe had a black guest star here and there. But I went almost 9 years without working. I couldn't buy a job. And on that note, I couldn't even get a manager after Color Purple being a Academy Award nominee because of that time. There were no Spike Lees and there were no other films that I could just go right into after Color Purple.
And that's after having the history or having the career you'd already had at that point.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I've done everything to survive. That's the other thing I tell people, don't think you're going to make money in this business. And when you do, don't get too happy, because it can stop at any time. All these Rolexes and famous big cars and all of that, shoot, you be scared to take it out. Repo looking at you. I've done real estate. I became a licensed psychologist in California, and 9 years I was working as a therapist and doing some volunteer work in shelters for abused women and children, which I still do from time to time. But we still have a lot of work to do with our people. And I'm so glad that I've had that experience, because you have to know what's happening outside of your own little bubble. You've got to be able to talk to people who have different experiences than you. And it helps you not to be so judgmental, because there's a whole lot of us living from check to check. We just ain't talking about it. We could be on the street anytime.
A lot of us are one emergency away from it all going away.
That's right. That's right. And we have a system that's so unsympathetic or unempathetic to situation. For example, what happens if you get in an accident? It's not your fault. Your car is totaled. Now you're waiting on the insurance money so that you can replace your car. My daughter and stepdaughter have been waiting for money to replace their car for months. Months. How do you get to your job?
Right.
If you don't have a car, particularly in LA and even in Atlanta? I mean, we need legislation for that injustice. People with money, it ain't no big deal. They just go out and get another one again. They, put it on their credit card and boom, that's fine.
Right.
But if your car is maxed out, or you had a little hard time and your score is too low, what you gonna do? And that's somebody who's been trying to pay their taxes, take care of their responsibilities, but the system has screwed over them. Can you tell I'm political?
Well, listen, you said it from the beginning. So but no, it's all truth though. Like it's all truth. And that leads me right to this next question. I know, having watched the new cast of the new version of the film do their thing, you've definitely seen Taraji talking about pay equity and what it means to be a Black woman in this industry, still trying to be seen as equal, still trying to fight for every single thing.
Absolutely.
Knowing, having spoken to you now and knowing where you've come from, the things you've dealt with, and seeing her still have that conversation, how does that affect you?
Well, we hope that, I think that because people have reacted in a positive way and empathetic, she won't be blackballed. I mean, because this has been going on forever, but anytime, we all know that we haven't had the unity to speak out. So if you speak out as a single person, it's almost like now suddenly you're not getting cast because you're a troublemaker.
Yeah.
So the problem of the inequities with pay with women, it's not limited to, in my opinion, to just the film industry. It's our culture.
Absolutely.
I mean, because we're seen as less valuable as men. Myself, even, I've done, when I couldn't buy a job, I've been on the college lecture circuit and have done guest speaker at places. And I found out that the person that was assisting me, they would pay me one thing, but if it was a guy, Black or white, they pay them much more than me. And I'm the one that would have a bigger name than the man.
Right. I'm bringing like all of the attraction for the event.
Right. But I'm just saying that even Meryl Streep, I remember years ago, she said, now her film came out the same time as Color Purple with the Academy Awards, out of Africa.
Okay.
She starred with Robert Redford. Now, Meryl Streep, she was saying in this article, she's the one that had like more than one Academy Award. I mean, not a nominee, but awards.
Yeah, she has them
She's
stacked.
got about 3 or 4 of them. And she said, but Robert Redford is the one that got the money. She didn't get nearly as the money that he got. So what does that say about our culture? Now, we're not as bad as some countries where the women have to walk in back of the man, but we still have that feeling that if a woman is strong and is smart and she demands a certain thing, then she's a bitch. But if it's a man that that demands that same kind of excellency and comes down on you. He's like just hard, but
Right.
he's strong and good, but we're bitches. And so that's something that we just have to work on as a culture. Now, as far as the film business, there's a pecking order. There's the white male, and then and maybe the black male, and then there's the white female and the black female. So we're at the bottom of the pecking order. So we're always going to be getting our butts kicked. So we just have to say, what I say is like, okay, if I can't get the same as the white male, let me at least get what the white female is getting. You got to think of it from the other side of it too, because there's always, say, from being a therapist, I know there's more than one side of the story.
Right.
We only tell from our perspective, which is normal, it's natural. But as business, you got to remember everybody, even you, if you see something, you want to get the best quality for the least amount of money. Okay, right? The other part of it, though, getting the best that you can for the least amount of money, you don't want to be insulted. Okay.
Right.
I mean, if you see something that's worth $10,000, don't insult somebody for them offering 2,000. And that's what I have experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, okay, you know that I'm a wonderful actor and I've been in the business all this. I'm professional. I've proven to you that I can do the job. And by being professional, I'm saving you money.
Right.
Because I'm not going to take up your time trying to explain to me, which most of them directors can't do anyway today. They don't, and that's a whole nother subject.
We might have to do a part 2 on that.
But I'm just saying, don't be insulting. I mean, what I was offered on Being Mary Jane, I told my agent, you tell them, if they call me, I'm going to try to go through the phone and kick they behind. I mean, it was insulting what they offered. They brought the money up, but why start so low? Is that the poker game to see if I'm so hungry, I'm going to just grab it? I don't know.
And that was the series, right?
Absolutely. We were I think we lasted like 4 years on BET.
Oh my goodness. It's upsetting.
But it is upsetting. But, and that's the other thing I tell people, don't get in this business with you got to have thick skin and don't take things personally, because it's show business.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember that. I'm finally going to be getting to do a comedy again. I haven't done a comedy in a long time. But Block Party. I'm going to be working with Ted Danson from, remember the old show Cheers?
I love Ted.
He's gone from series to series. And Sally Struthers from All in the Family.
All in the Family.
Remember that? Yeah. So I have some scenes with both of them. It's a sitcom that's going to be on Netflix. We haven't started shooting yet, but I won't get to do all 8 episodes because I die. I think the 5th episode, everybody's talking about how I died, and I'm saying, damn, why can't? Because it's such a good character, and I know I'm going to have a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that it will open the door to doing more comedy, because I've been stuck in this drama for all these years. After Color Purple, I could never get anything. That's why I was so happy to do Block Party. Mm-hmm. And even with that, some of my best stuff was cut for reasons out of their control and mine. So I said, damn God, please, every time I do something good, it gets cut. Nobody gets to see it.
Well, look, I'm putting it out in the universe right now. The right comedy is going to find its way into your life and set you up.
I had so much fun working with Richard Pryor, the late Richard Pryor. He was so good, because all of that was improv. I mean, you didn't know what was going to come out of his mouth. You just had to go with it, stay in character, and have fun.
I had not watched it in so long, and I hopped on YouTube and I caught the bedroom scene. You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Even that, I think that was improv. Yeah, and that's what I say to all you young people who want to be actors. Learn the process, because that's what's going to give you longevity. Learn the craft, because we have to work. Even in Color Purple, the film, when you see all that snow and we're in the raccoon coats and all that, it was 104 degrees.
Right.
It was fake snow, and you got to like be able to do it. Learn how to focus regardless of the conditions, and regardless of the dumb directors you may have to work with, regardless of all the things. Because when people see you, they either think in your performance, oh, it was good or bad. You can't say, well, the reason the play wasn't good is because we this or that. And, nobody's thinking about any excuses. They looking at the results.
Right.
And if you have friends that come to see you and all they can say, well, it was interesting, you still got some more work to do.
I think my favorite one is, you did your thing.
But it's hard, but for those individuals who do stand out, it's hard to stand out in a bad production. But hey, that's paying your dues. I'm not saying don't do it, because you still learn to hold your own. Hopefully you learn how to maintain a character and make up dialogue when somebody doesn't come on the stage when they were supposed to, but you got to keep going. You can't say, oh, audience, we waiting on such and such. You got to hold that character, making up that dialogue. And if you haven't studied and learned how to prepare for a character, to develop a character, that dialogue doesn't come naturally. Yeah. I'm not saying that your adrenaline ain't going and you're thinking, Lord, where is that person? You're just prepared.
When you are truly, like you said, studied, when you've taken your time with your character, when you are in the right mindset, you'll be able to react.
Absolutely.
And not even have to think about it.
And all these actors that you see that are really on the A list, they come from stage.
Yeah. Please say that again. Please say that again.
Stage will really teach you. You can get some bad habits, but you're going to learn so much, because what's happening now in film, you have directors who don't know how to communicate to actors what they want. They see you doing something in another project and they say, oh, that fits this role that I want. And then they're not directing you any other way. So that when you have a director that's not helping you to elevate your performance, you've got to be knowing what you've got to do as a studied person to do the best you can. And you've got to be able to do your best in spite of that director.
Yes.
And I amen to
You are preaching tonight. You are preaching tonight. Yes.
Well, I just don't want people to be delusional. We actors, we don't talk about the hard times we've had.
Right.
And the reality is, it's not a fair business. Well, life ain't fair. If you ask me, I just say be prepared. Just don't think that you're going to jump into something. And right now, we seniors who were promised lifetime insurance, that was taken from us 2 years ago, because the corporations took over, and wow. So things change, and not always in your favor, usually not in your favor. You got to figure out how to survive. That changed the whole thing. It used to be, if you got a couple of commercials, you could live off your residuals and unemployment. But now they fixed it so that you can't even get insurance unless you make a certain amount of money. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to make that amount that they've set. It's tough. It's tough for young people now.
Absolutely. I mean, between that, the economy having been what it is and is continuing to be for a while, they've now, I've heard recently changed the retirement age from 65 to 70.
I say they want you to die before they have to pay.
That is exactly what I say.
You know, by the time you're 70 with no health insurance, you won't be able to enjoy it anyway.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Well, sometimes we have to laugh to keep from crying, but I just say vote.
Yes.
Vote, because because this is a serious time, and I hope when you edit, you get this part in.
I will.
Vote, because right now, if we get the wrong leadership, we won't get the opportunity to vote, because we got somebody that wants to be an autocrat, with someone who worships other autocrats. So let's not have no Hitler.
There it is. There it is. You put it out there. All right. So I'm gonna jump into this last part. I don't know. Let me ask you this, because I don't know if you got the chance to do it. When James Lipton was still around, did you ever get the chance to do Inside the Actor Studio?
No.
You did?
In fact, I never saw any blacks do it.
There
Who
were
did?
There were a couple, not a lot of us.
I used to watch him all the time, so I guess I missed those two.
Well, I think it's important that you get your moment like everyone else. So I'm going to ask you these connection questions.
Okay.
And respond from the heart as you are led. Are you ready?
Oh, well, I hope I can respond as a lady, because I got everybody fooled.
Look at Margaret Avery, you respond whatever way you need to respond. And if they got a problem with them, I'll fight them for you. All right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. What is your favorite word?
F.
Look, nothing else needs to be said. You know exactly what it was when you heard it. There it is. All right. All right.
Well, and I don't mean to say it, but it just comes out. What is that about? How come?
It's one of those, it's one of those quick response words.
Yeah, that's what I say, and I'm always hopeful that nobody's around. Usually nobody's around. It's very personal. Like when you're in your car or you step in something and mess up your shoe, it's always something in a private moment.
All right. Well, what's your least favorite word?
I don't like to hear the P word or the C word. I just think it's vulgar. But then what does that say about me? I say the F word. I don't know. It just says something about maybe my childhood or however I connected. It doesn't make sense that I say F, but I don't like to hear the other two.
I mean, it could be wired into how they were used when you experienced them, and that might be the thing.
Right.
So.
Thanks for cleaning it up for me.
All right. What feeds you?
What feeds me?
Yes.
Oh, a warm hug, a sincere hug. That's nice.
It's one of the best feelings. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
What drains you?
People who only talk about their problems. That's all they talk about. Negativity.
What sound or noise do you love?
Oh, do I? Because that's music. I love jazz. I love to wake up to birds chirping. I like that.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Somebody breaking wind.
Not a good sound. Not a good sound.
Nor what follows it.
That's the calm before the storm, really. Well, I was going to ask you what's your favorite curse word, but I think we've already established that one.
Yeah.
That one's set. So, what profession, other than any of the ones that you have already attempted, would you dare attempt?
Ooh. I think I'd like to learn more about astrology. When I look up at the sky, I'd like to know about what's happening up there.
What profession would you absolutely, positively, under no circumstances ever do?
I don't think I'd be good mortician because I just don't like for people to leave me. I wouldn't want to be a mortician. You know, it's like sometimes when there's so many funerals from people that I know and love, I just have to stop going. It's just too much for me.
I identify with that so much. There comes a point where I need to remember you the way I remember you. I can't keep going through that. Yeah, I understand. Whew.
I mean, the Bible says we're supposed to be happy and rejoiceful when people have made their transition and going on to a higher place. But I guess I'm selfish because I just feel the loss and
I totally understand.
not the joy for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll ever change with me.
Well, just know you got somebody that relates to that very feeling. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Wow. Oh, you done good, kid.
Well, I can say that even if you've never heard it from anyone else, you done good, kid. You really have.
I don't think I'm a good Christian because if I were to go to heaven and see people who are just horrible, I'm gonna be mad. I mean, wouldn't you be people that you know just horrible, and they be up in there? That ain't right.
This is not the party I expected. What is going on? I know that mental health is extremely important for you right now, and that's been your mission, your goal. You've been speaking about it. Why is it so important to you, and what do you want to say about it to everyone right now?
I'm really happy that more people of color recognize the value of therapy. You know, today we have so much negative energy coming at us, and then I think we're more isolated than ever with social media. We're not really communicating on a human level. It's all this texting, which it's it's not a full communication. So I think all of this enables us to hold things in. On the other hand, you see people just making comments and they're negative, and other people receiving that. So I'm hoping that we're, first of all, just open our hearts and not be so negative. Try to feel energy and then share that positive energy with someone else. And people who want to get married, I suggest that you get some premarital therapy first, counseling. There's so many things that you need to know about one another that you assume about another person. So much of, I think, breaking up could have been saved if there was proper counseling, not only before the marriage, but during the marriage. Never go to bed angry with one another. Just try to solve whatever it is before you go to bed, and not before the children. The children respond the way you respond. When I was doing family therapy, parents said, "Yeah, I want you to fix my child." But they didn't understand that the child was acting out them. They take in so much more than we realize. And I know that for a fact from my own daughter. So children make you be a better person when you're aware of that. And I'll just say this, that one day I was in the car driving downtown LA, and there's like a Skid Row area. Yeah. And my daughter, she's like this was when the chair could be in the right next to the driver, could be in the passenger side, not in the back seat. So she's looking out her window, looking like a privileged child, which she wasn't, but she always carried herself like that. And she says, "Are we in Tijuana?" I said, "No, it's so dirty." And it just told me that, whenever we went to Tijuana, we talked about how dirty it was and the people looked dirty. And here she is, like, what, 3 years old, 4 years old, saying that. And I thought, oh my God, we don't realize what we teach children. This is how the prejudice is. Prejudice, we keep saying it, that it's learned. Kids don't come out with these prejudice feelings towards other people. We're teaching our children certain things, whether we realize it or not. So your question was, what do I think about mental therapy? It's everyone's responsibility to try to treat someone the way you would like to be treated. And God didn't mean for us to be miserable. But it does say in the Bible that man will destroy himself. And if we're not careful, we can be on that path. You can just see what's going on right now. I'm not a religious freak, but I do believe in a higher power. And I think that if you just treat someone the way you would like to be treated, and that could do an awful lot. Just to say something good about somebody, compliment them. We don't realize how much that means to someone. Because even myself, people will compliment me, and I'm thinking, oh, gee, well, thank you. Because I didn't realize it myself. They assumed that I did, but no. I mean, even me, I'm just like the everyday person. If I see a star that I really, really appreciate, I'm scared to go up to them and ask for a picture, an autograph. So I know how it feels if somebody really respects me, no matter what mood I'm in. And I mean, it might be, oh, damn, another one. I let them know that I appreciate that, because here I am, 80 years old, and people still love me. And I have to continue to earn that love. And I let them know that I appreciate that you love this old grandma, but getting all wide.
Oh, come on. Well, look, I did hear in one of your other interviews that you did that overseas, they're not looking at you like that. They're looking at the sophistication and the beauty and the vivaciousness of the experience of age. So that's what I'm looking at too.
Well, hopefully we all know that beauty comes from within,
Exactly.
And hopefully that, I'm just grateful to my husband, because without makeup and wigs and everything, he sees me the way I am, and he still loves me.
And isn't that all we want? To be seen?
Yeah.
Well, Miss Avery, again, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you coming and talking. Just spending the time, just giving of yourself, because I know that that's what you spend your entire career doing, giving of yourself. So to spend a little bit of time with me, thank you. It means the world.
Well, thank you. Just keep your prayers going that old grandma can still get out there and work, because I love my work. And the industry, is not kind to older women. So
This I know, and I will be talking to every writer that I know, every person that I know who's connected to someone else. And hell, if we can, we'll see if we can get you down here for Juneteenth and play the movie over at the theater next year.
Oh, okay. All right. You're going to pay for my fare?
We're going to look, if I'm going to invite you, I got to pay for you. Ain't that how a date work?
Now, listen, I know how we are.
I do too. Well, thank you so much, Miss Avery. I am so grateful that you fought through these technical issues. You fought.
Yeah, and you were patient. I saw you putting your head down.
I was praying. I was praying.
Now don't lie. I'm an actor. I can read body language.
Oh, no. Get to know me a little longer. That was me saying, God, please make this work, Lord.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I like your hair. It's good. I want to see you in person. You look so cute.
Oh, it would be a dream to meet you in person. It really would.
Take your glasses off. Let me see. Oh, yeah. If I wouldn't mind saying, yeah, that's my son. Isn't he cute?
Oh. Well, look here. If there's a role available, y'all, anybody, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, baby. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good one now.
Okay, I got to go cook.
Me too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.